Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to my channel. Today's reading is titled, What Makes You Unforgettable? So, instead of having 3 pals today, I have 2, and you are welcome to pick more than one. Just please pick using your intuition. I'm going to give you all a second to pick, and then we're going to go ahead and get started with pile number 1. Alrighty, we're going to go ahead and get started with pile number 1. So, pile number 1, what makes you unforgettable? So, people can't forget you because you introduce them to new tasty foods and drinks. Maybe you're somebody who has like a special Starbucks drink or a special Dunkin' drink, and like you introduce this person to that, or it could be your favorite restaurant or your favorite meal. Or maybe you have your own secret recipe to something, and you encourage this person to try it. Or maybe you have a different diet and you encourage this person to try it, because I'm picking up like vegan food. So maybe you introduce this person to vegan food, okay, or these people to vegan food, and it's something that makes you unforgettable. Before I even had gotten to the energy pile number 1, what I was picking up is that you have really good taste in fashion and jewelry and makeup and nail polish. That's coming through very strongly, okay? Take what resonates, because that may be for some people, okay? But there's something about your jewelry, whether you're male, whether you're female or non-binary, it's like there's something very particular about the kind of jewelry you wear. So maybe you make your own jewelry or you order it, or maybe you buy jewelry that's already made, or you fix up old jewelry. There's something about you making it very, very beautiful, and it looks expensive even if it's not, okay? There's something that people find unforgettable. Like, you have really good pieces and it goes really well with your skin and your outfits, okay? That's something that makes you unforgettable. Also, you're somebody who's just very beautiful, okay? Very graceful. And people just miss being in your warm energy. It's like being in a jacuzzi where you just feel so relaxed and at peace. So that is what makes you unforgettable. Pile number 1, let's get into these cards. So, you guessed it. The first card we have is the Empress. The Empress. Okay, you are very beautiful. Like, it was confirmed. It was just confirmed. Okay. So, pile number 1, that is something that makes you unforgettable, because I feel like your beauty is not just limited to your physicality. Your beauty is also in the way you treat people, in your style, in your home decor. Like, you give me the energy of somebody who had a decorated locker in high school, or you just are somebody who is very decorative. So maybe around the holidays, you like to decorate for the fall or for the spring or for the summer. Like, you're very good with decorations here, or maybe you're very good with like Halloween decorations, and this is something that makes you unforgettable. It's like you can make anything beautiful, pile number 1, and that's what makes you unforgettable. The next card that we have is, it says, "You are the most beautiful person I have ever laid eyes on." Are you one of God's angels? So it's just this grace about you. You could have really like glowy skin too, pile number 1, because there's something that is very illuminating about you. And this is what makes you unforgettable. Maybe you have really clear skin, okay? And this is something that makes you unforgettable. And you do have an angelic type of presence. You have a very light type of energy, pile number 1, like a very gentle kind of energy. And this is something that makes you unforgettable. The next card that we have is, I miss your advice. So I feel like you gave out really good advice when it came to conflict, when it came to people dealing with certain situations in their life. I feel like you always approached it with compassion, but you still told people, like, okay, hey, this is what you should do. And I feel like you always did it in a loving way. And this is something that makes you unforgettable, because it's hard for people to find like that vulnerability with others, with because there's a lot of people that will be really harsh or will criticize that person when they're trying to just open up, and it's like You don't do that, pal number one. Like, you give people the space to articulate their feelings, and you do it from a non-judgmental place because you know that, we're all learning in this human experience. Like, none of us are perfect. So, the least we could do is be compassionate. And this is what people miss about you. And it's something that makes you unforgettable. I'm sorry, I had to clear my throat. The next card that we have is you act like a Gemini. So you're very good with speech, communication, and writing. You may be multi-talented too. So you could do different things. Okay. Like maybe you're good with fashion. Maybe you're good with digital creating. Okay. Maybe you're good with cooking. Maybe you're good with content creating. It's like you're good at multiple things. And this is something that makes you unforgettable because if somebody needed somebody to do their hair, you could do that. You could design a shirt. You could even do their nails here because I'm picking up nail techs. But it's like you are kind of like this jack of all trades where you have multiple hobbies that you could even monetize. And this is something that makes you unforgettable. You are very multifaceted. And with that Gemini energy, that's dealing with communication. So it will make sense that people really miss your advice. I feel like you just have this light energy. Gemini has that youthful kind of energy. So what makes you unforgettable is you could still look the same to people because you have this glow to you. So I feel like you could be somebody who you look younger than your age, or you still have this light inside of you that has not been tainted by the ways of the world. Like you're still in connection with your inner child, power number one. And this is something that makes you unforgettable. The next card that we have is stability. And I feel like this is not just limited to financial stability, but I feel like mental, emotional, and spiritual stability. I feel like you are this powerhouse, pal number one, and people can't shake you up. Like you don't allow, like, cause I'm seeing this ocean, and it's like you know how to calm those waves. When a storm comes in, you know how to ride the waves of the storm. You don't allow yourself to be swept in the storm, and you don't sweep other people in that storm either. And this is something that makes you unforgettable because you didn't take out what you were going through on other people. It's like you could be going through something, pal number one, but still be there for somebody else. I'm sorry. Like you would still be there for other people, even though you had a lot. So this is something that makes you unforgettable, like the emotional stability you had, because there's a lot of people who are going through things and it makes them emotionally unavailable to other people, but it didn't have that same effect on you, pal number one. And that's what makes you unforgettable. The last card we have for you is don't take it personally. So you gave people a lot of grace. You didn't take a lot of things personally. And it's like you just didn't allow people to rain on your parade again with that emotional, spiritual, and mental stability. It's like you have those tools for yourself to keep your energy protected. And this is something that makes you unforgettable because maybe at times people thought you were being selfish or mean or closed off when really you were just doing the sensible thing and protecting your energy. And they see how far that's gotten you. Okay, that's something that makes you unforgettable. And I feel like you may have went through people, trying to form opinions on you, pattern one, because when you're a positive and peaceful person, sometimes people want to pick on you or they can assume that nothing ever bad happens in your life. That's why you're so peaceful, but they don't realize that that peace came from you cultivating that within. It came from those hard, challenging, and tough moments. It didn't come from just a good life. So you have a lot of wisdom, and this is what makes you unforgettable. And it's like people could have tried to project onto you, like, oh, you're this and that. And it's like you didn't take it personally, and it's like you have excelled past a lot of these people's opinions and projections of you, pal number one. So that's what makes you unforgettable. It's like you're that person, pal number one, that like in school, if this was in school, people will always remember you because it's the energy of people placing so much doubt on you, yet you've surpassed all of them. And maybe they already had certain things up on you. So maybe they had the position. Maybe their parents, had more money than your parents. But it's like at the end of the day, you have surpassed a lot of people who made it seem like because they had more than you. Like it's kind of this energy of the last shall be first and the first shall be last, pal number one. That's the best way I can describe it because it's like I feel like people used to do you like that, even though you were this beautiful person. Like I'm hearing the word bombshell because you've always been that person. You've always been somebody who had this charisma to you. You've always been this person that was very beautiful and attractive, but I feel like people seeing your light and try to dim it. Pile number one. And it's like, despite people trying to dim your light, it's like you didn't take it personal. You use that as fuel to get to the next level. And that is what makes you unforgettable. Let's read your channel messages and then we're going to move on to pile number two. All right. So on the channel messages for you, pile number one, we have you have a very pure heart. Okay, you're somebody who's mature. You can look at situations from both angles. With that Gemini energy, you can see both sides. That makes you unforgettable. But also, there was this moment that I was channeling. There's this moment where Aaliyah, if you know who Aaliyah is, she's one of my favorite singers, and I have her in some of my readings if you want to check those out. But yeah, Aaliyah had sent Brandy some flowers because the music industry was trying to put Aaliyah and Brandy against each other. Like if you watch like hip hop documentaries and stuff, they talk like a great deal about this. It can explain it better than me. But long story short, the industry was trying to put them against each other and make them compete and be each other's rivals. But Aaliyah was just so graceful and was like, you know what? I hope, she does a good job on the show, and she sent her flowers. She gave her flowers. So it's like you have that kind of energy. Like I'm picking up that song by Kelly Uchis, I Wish You Roses. It's like you just have this grace for people. Like, like I'm not gonna take it personal, like the way you treated me, because I know it doesn't have anything to do with me. So you're becoming somebody who's just very secure in yourself, pile number one. And it's like the more you level up, the more you understand your worth and your value and who should be allowed in your life. All right, pal number one, that is what makes you unforgettable. Thank you for tuning in. Mwah. Peace. Alrighty, if you chose pile number two, this is your reading. So, pile number two, what makes you unforgettable? So, people can't forget you, pile number two, because you inspired them to try new things and stop being afraid to live their life. You're somebody who lives life by your own rules. Like, pile number two, you have this energy of like classy but rebellious. Like that's how the energy is coming through. Is dualistic. Like you have this classy energy. Like you see how she's dressed in the picture. It's like you may dress like that, or you may incorporate those kinds of themes into your fashion. But it's like at the core, you're somebody who's like defying tradition. Like you're rebellious in a good way. Like you're a rebel with a cause. Okay, and that's something that makes you unforgettable here. Also, it's like I feel like you are like feisty. Pile number two, you have this feistiness to you. And it's like people like that. Like this is the energy I'm picking up on. Like, I don't know why the movie Monte Carlo is coming up. So that could be significant to you. Pile number two, it's like with Selena Gomez in it. I think it's called Monte Carlo. But yeah, it's like you know how it was like two of them, and it was the one that was kind of like more like she was more assertive and stern. It's like you had that energy sometimes, pal number two. You see how it was two of them and they look the same. It's like that's kind of how it is with you. So you may have a twin here, and that's what makes you unforgettable. Pal number two. But also it's like you have two sides to you. It's like, yes, you're this classy person, this elegant person, but you also will rebel when you see people going against other people's humanity. So you may be somebody who stands up for marginalized communities or you speak on behalf of marginalized communities. You could be somebody who's done protests. And this can be in all forms, spanning across like race, gender, disability, religion, sexuality, in all of that, like everything encompassed in that. So you may be somebody who's very well versed in terms of like activism. Okay. And this is something that makes you unforgettable because people learned a lot. Like pile number two, you're a forward thinker. You're a forward thinker. And this is something that makes you unforgettable because maybe people didn't question gender until they met you. Maybe they didn't question gender until you start questioning it. It's like certain things like that, like you question society. You may even question religion. Like you may be that kind of person that's like, why does it say this if this is the reality of the world? So you question a lot of things that people may consider taboo because some people feel like you shouldn't be questioning religion, or it's natural for a man and a woman to exist. Like people have these mindsets, but it's like you have a different type of mindset here. It's a lot of Aquarius energy coming through. You could be an Aquarius or a Sagittarius. Um, take what resonates. Okay, let's get into these cards. So the first card we have is the Queen of Swords. Okay, so what's unforgettable about you is like when you express your opinion on this reminded me of like if you ever went to college, pound number two, like maybe you had like intense debates with people and it's like you set them straight, especially when it came to other people's humanity. There's something about you and other people's humanity, okay, which makes you unforgettable. Maybe you help people to see like they shouldn't have biases and discriminations against people who are different from them, okay. This is something that makes you unforgettable with the Queen of Swords. I feel like you spoke a lot of truth that people couldn't handle, but I feel like it's marinated and now people know what you were talking about. I feel like maybe you said something in your class or you said something to your family, friends, or group of people, and it's like it's finally hitting them now. Especially if you are at a distance from these people and you don't see them on a regular basis, it's something that they can't stop thinking about. So that's what makes you unforgettable. The next card we have is spontaneity. So it's like you're very adventurous. Like you are the type that's like, let's go to this coffee shop we'd never try, or let's go bungee jumping. It's like you can do things at the spur of the moment that may seem wild, but it's like the best memories are made like that. And I feel like you show people the synchronicities of the universe. So maybe you do something wild, but it works out for you and you teach people like all they have to do is listen to themselves and have faith in God and spirit in the universe, and everything will work itself out as long as you believe. I feel like you've taught people a lot through example, and that's what makes you unforgettable. The next card that we have is the 11th house. So, yeah, Aquarius energy here. You're very unique. You defy societal norms. You do the things you want to do. Okay. You don't care how people see it or view it. You're not concerned about that. The next card we have is Oshun solar plexus. So, the solar plexus is about our vitality, our willpower, our confidence, our light. So you're somebody that you have this light to you, but it's like you don't care if you have to stand alone. Like if you think something, if you believe something, you're going to stand on that. Even if other people around you are afraid to agree because you're not a follower, pal number two, you're a leader. That's what makes you unforgettable. Okay. Then we have I regret hurting you. I feel like with the 11th house coming out, because the 11th house can represent our group of friends. So I feel like there's a lot of people you cut off, especially with that swords energy. It's like there's a lot of people you've cut out of your life, and a lot that's why I was saying like a lot of the things you told people is making sense to them now. It's marinating, okay? And that's something that's making you unforgettable. Things you've said. And a lot of people miss you because a lot of what you told them is true. I feel like you are somebody, partner two, who wakes people up to society and what's going on in this matrix. Like maybe they finally realize certain things about, the music we listen to, the food we eat, organized religion. It's like people are that you used to talk to, pal number two, are finally understanding everything you were trying to put them onto. Like they could have told you, oh, that's just a conspiracy theory, or we shouldn't be questioning that, or that's wrong, but it's like now it's making sense. Okay, it's making sense, and that's what makes you unforgettable. So yeah, with this perspective card, it's making sense. And then this number 8 is here. It's making me think how think like what goes around comes around. And I feel like in a sense this is what's happening. Like people could have tried to ostracize you or make you seem like you, because it's this art, the archetype of like the mad scientist. Like I feel like people tried to put you in that role, but you were right. It's like people want to call you crazy or want to say you're weird for believing in certain things until they start to see it for themselves. And I feel like a lot of people have seen certain things for themselves in person, or they've done their own research and it's the same thing you have already told them. It's like pound number two, you are ahead of your time. You was already talking about this stuff before it became popular. Like maybe you were already talking about conspiracy theories and the things that happen with like our food and GMOs and growing your own garden. And now that's very popular. And people are like, that's what pound number two was telling us. So that's something that makes you unforgettable. Then the last card we have is direction. It's like you took a different direction from your peers. It's like even if you had to stand alone. So that's why I'm getting here. Somebody could have went to college, got a higher education, or you just did something where it benefited you and you did something different from your peers. So everybody else could have took a certain route and that was okay. But it's like pile number two, you're not a follower, you're a leader. So you took your own route. It's like you've paved your own way. So maybe you've created a business for yourself. Okay, if this is not school, it's like you've created a business. And if you are looking for a sign to go back to school, go to school, or start a business, consider it. Okay, because it's coming through in the reading. Because you may be listening, like, I don't even have all that, but it's the energy. So you could have it, pile number two. Okay, if you don't already, take what resonates. But yeah, okay, that's what makes you unforgettable. Let me read your channel messages and then we're going to close out the reading. So I was hearing this song. I think it's by Chloe and Halle. It's called Do It. I have to check to make sure that both of them are on it. Also, the channel messages says here that you cut a lot of people off because they didn't respect you. You were a great friend to so many people, even when they weren't a great friend to you. You really help people to see the truth about others in society. You stand up for the underdog or marginalized communities. So you could have went to a protest with somebody, or you showed people how important it was to care about humanity. Okay, take what resonates. You also have discernment and you could always see what other people couldn't. So maybe you were telling people about certain people they had in their lives and they didn't believe you. And it's like now they see. And I feel like now people feel like it's hard to get close to you, but it's understandable. I feel like you have really high standards. Pile number two, like you don't play about your peace. It's like you only want people around you that want to grow and want to do better, not people who want to leech off you and complain. I feel like you're very cutthroat about who's allowed in your energy and who's not. And this is something that makes you unforgettable. I feel like a lot of people wish they would have stayed because when it comes to you, pal number two, you're not easy to get back in good graces with. It's like people really have to earn your trust. They have to earn your energy. So this is something that makes you unforgettable. Thank you so much, pal number two, for listening. Mwah. Peace.